Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm on today with the answers to the 5 Truths, 5 Myths challenge. And I was nominated for this challenge by lovely Jessica Marvel Crafts. And what it was to come up with 10 statements, and 5 of them were true, 5 of them were false. So you had to guess which 5 was true. And I can reveal that nobody got all 5 correct. We have 2 winners, so 2 with people with guessing 4 out of 5. The first one was Roz, Paper Crafting with Roz. And the second one was Alex, who is a bullet for my snail mail. So congratulations, ladies. I'll send you a little something in the post. So 4 out of 5, very well done. A lot of people got 3 out of 5, and others 2 and 1. But let's get on with the answers. Statement number 1. I love the Scottish Islands and I am actively trying to visit as many as possible. That is true. I've been trying to do this since about 2010, my first trip to Tiree, which put me in love with the Hebridean Islands. That's the west. They're sometimes called the Western Isles, and they're out to the west coast of Scotland. So I've been going about island hopping, and say if you're on an island like Mull, I've visited Mull, and from Mull I was able to hop across in a short ferry to Iona, and then also on that same trip I walked across it was a tidal island, the island of Ered, right down the bottom. So when the tide was out I managed to cross over, so that was another island off my list. And also from Mull I went to Staffa. It's the amazing Fingal's Cave on a small boat trip. And also from Mull I've been to Ulva. Now the island of Ulva, there's no cars in Ulva, it's just a small boat going over and back. Nobody's allowed to stay on Ulva overnight, and we were hoping to get to Gometra, which is joined on to island Ulva by bridge, so that would have been another island, but unfortunately it was too far to walk there and back to get back for the small boat, so I think that's going to be impossible for us. So there's lots of islands connected as well, like in the Hebrides there's lots of connected by causeways and bridges and small ferries, so we've done as many of them as we can. We've still got in the Hebrides we've still got the small isles to do, which is Muck, Egg, Canna and Rum. But the ferries are absolutely terrible timings, you know. That would cost us quite a bit, because we'd need to stay overnight in Mallaig, and we can't do it all in the one day, so but we're still hoping to do that at some point, and I think that would complete our Hebridean trips if we went to all of them. So anyway, second statement was, I have been to the Shetland Islands, Orkney Islands and the Hebrides. And that is true. I have visited all 3 groups. So the third statement was, the Shetland Island group is my favourite group of islands. Now that one's false, I'm afraid. That's the one that Alex and Roz both went for. That's what they got wrong. No, Shetland, as nice as it was, I visited Shetland in 2013 it was, for the Shetland Folk Festival. following Skerryvore again. I've been all over the place with Skerryvore, following Skerryvore, and following bands from that I've learned from Skerryvore that's been like in the same festivals that they've played and support bands that they've had. And so most of my holidays have been following the music, the kind of West Coast music, which is a kind of folk, but Celtic folk rock, kind of folk rock with a wee bit of Gaelic music, Gaelic songs thrown in for good measure. So statement number 3 was false, because Shetland is not my favourite. My favourite group of islands is definitely the Hebrides. Now, narrowing it down is harder. I absolutely love Tiree. Tyree's the one that I know the best. I've been to most, and it's got the most amazing sandy beaches, stretches for miles, and so quiet. You can go in the middle of July when the festival's on and still have a beach to yourself. Sometimes there's cows on it, or sheep. I've seen cows and sheep on several of Tyree's beaches. They seem to just wander about the place. But when the festival's on, Crossapall Beach, that can be busy, because that's right where the campsite is for the temporary campsite for the festival. And Scaronish is the main village. Doesn't get busy, but it's just amazing how many people come over for the festival, but travel just outside where the festival site is. You can still get absolutely solitude. and I absolutely love all the islands. Orkney Islands was nice as well. We've been to Orkney mainland. We went over for the Orkney Folk Festival, and while we were over there, we've done Orkney mainland, and then up to Unst, Yell and Unst. Yell is a short ferry from the mainland, and then Unst is a short ferry from Yell. Skerryvore were playing on Yell, so we went up to see them, but we also took the second ferry on to Unst, because I was interested in seeing the Bobby's bus stop. Now, this is a working bus shelter, but it has a funny story. It was like they were back in the 1990s, and the Island Council was going to remove this bus shelter, and a 7-year-old boy called Bobby, he wrote to them and complained that because he took his bike to the bus shelter and left the bike in the bus shelter every day while he was at school. So he wanted it to stay. So they left it there, and I think it was Bobby himself that decided to start decorating it. And so he made it comfortable with like seats. There's like couches and all sorts of things, like a old television and all sorts, just in this bus shelter. And so that Bobby is now, I think, well grown up now, but the bus shelter is still getting decorated to this day. They do change the themes every now and again. I know it's been changed since I was there, 2013, and the time I was there, it was so cute. It was like green furniture with sheep, kind of sheep transfers all over the chest of drawers and stuff, and it was very, very comfortable bus stop. And it's been like changed for World Cup themes. The last I know of it was the Queen's Jubilee theme. I don't know if it's been changed since then. That the last YouTube video that I've seen of it, which was Steve Marsh's video, and he visited it in May last year, I think it is. So don't know if it's been changed yet or not. I tried to have a look before coming on here. Anyway, so that was an interesting bit of Shetland. Orkney, I would recommend the Italian chapel. It was built by the Italians that were prisoners of war, and using just it was an old shelter. They built this lovely chapel. Orkney is famed for a lot of the archaeological sites as well. So I would recommend both Shetland and Orkney, but the Hebridean Islands has definitely got my heart. It's the scenery, the more dramatic scenery. Then you've got Barra in the Outer Hebrides. You can take a plane, a small plane, and land on the beach. I think that's the only working airport on a beach in the world. Amazing beaches in Barra and Battersea as well, which is joined on by causeway to Barra. Lewis and Harris, I can definitely recommend them. And they've got a great festival, the Hebcelt Festival, which is another kind of music festival, a my style of music. But really, really impressed with the scenery and all of the Hebridean Islands. Skye as well, it's got amazing scenery. Skye, you'd find, was the most visited of the Hebridean Islands. That's because they've built a bridge back in the early 90s, I think it was. They built a bridge over to Skye, and since then it has been really popular, really, really popular. I find Mull and Skye very similar in kind of they've both not got a lot of beaches, but they've got a lot of mountain ranges and stuff like that. A lot of the Hebridean Islands, they don't have any trees, very little trees on Tiree, and that is great for midges. So in Scotland here you get lots of midges about, so the islands tend to be less midgy, so that's another good thing about islands. Anyway, let's carry on. I could talk all night about islands. Statement number 4, I have worked in a Butlins Holiday Camp, and that was true. I have worked in the one down in Ayr, which was in Scotland, the Heads of Ayr. It was called Wonder West World. It's not there anymore, unfortunately. It's now a Haven caravan park. That was a great job. I was just like from it was 91, 92, 93. I was down there, so like from 19 to 21. So really fun job. I was just doing things like first year I was in the bakery, just serving in the bakery. In the second and third seasons I was on outside venues, just selling stuff like crisps and hot dogs and stuff like that. I was moving about the place. I was down at the shows, at the beach hut and at Chuckles. I was most of my 93 season was spent in Chuckles, which was the fun pub, and that was really good season because I enjoyed like watching the karaoke and the country and western singers and the shows that they had on. So I've got fond memories of Butlins and Ayr. So statement number 5. My first job was a hotel receptionist. Now that one is false, I'm afraid. I have never worked in a hotel. My first job was actually in a shoe shop. It was a YTS. It was £35, I think it was, for the week. I think if you went on a YTS from when you were 16, it was £29.50, and the second year it was £35. But I had stayed on at school for the 5th year and then decided to take a YTS. So it was Tandem Shoe Shop in the next town along, Coatbridge, and that was really fun, quite a fun job as well. I was working with some lovely people, and I loved seeing all the new shoes coming in on the days the new stock came. So I also got a discount on the shoes. So I was buying more shoes than ever when I was working in the shoe shop. So that was number 5 was false. Number 6, I used to have 2 budgies. Now number 6 is true. I did have 2 budgies. My first budgie was called Sonny, and I had him from must have been early 70s to mid 80s. I think it might have been 85, maybe 84 or 85 that he died. But he did live for quite long, that budgie. It was funny, he never liked flying. If you were cleaning out his cage, you could put him on the newspaper with his toys and he wouldn't move. Whereas the second budgie was called Angus. He was a different altogether. We managed we got him in 1985 and he died in 95, so he was 10 when he died. And but we got him really young because my dad was friends, worked beside a man that bred the budgies. So I remember going and choosing wee Angus, and because we got him so young, we were able to teach him to speak. So he learned a few phrases. My mum had made him a tartan cover for his cage, and so we taught him, "Where's my coat?" "Where's my coat? Where's my coat?" He'd say it like that. We used to cover him up every night with his tartan coat, so he could ask for that. He could say, "Pretty, pretty, pretty boy." Oh, he was quite funny. I actually taped him once on a cassette. I still got the tape, but I need to find a tape recorder to listen to it. Oh, he was that funny. But he liked to fly about a lot more, and he'd fly in. I remember he'd head for the net curtains, and he'd always catch his wee claws on the net, and he'd be dangling off, and he'd squawk terribly till he get rescued. Well, so that was our Angus. So 6 is true. I did have 2 budgies. 7 is false because the first budgie was not blue and the second budgie was not green. The first budgie, Sonny, was a definite grey, and the second budgie, Angus, I would say he was grey, but it was a more bluish grey than Sonny was, but I'd still say it was definitely grey that he was. So that's my memories of the budgies, the lovely wee budgies. Anyway, 8, my favourite takeaway is fish and chips. Nope, that is wrong. I can't stand fish. Well, the only fish I can eat is tin tuna, and at that I would have it mixed with loads of mayonnaise. And I definitely wouldn't choose fish and chips out of a chip shop. I'd say my favourite takeaway would probably be something from the Chinese. I've got several dishes that I like from the Chinese. If I was going for a chippy though, I would probably choose steak pie. If not steak pie, a Scotch pie. Sometimes a pizza crunch supper. Sometimes a haggis supper. If I can find a white pudding supper, which is similar to haggis but less spicy. But not a lot of chippies do white pudding, so I usually pick that up if I find it in a chippy. Used to like gammon steak suppers, but they're getting very, very hard to find in chip shops nowadays. I remember a couple of chippies that used to do them, but they're not there anymore. So that's what I'd order from a chippy. So statement number 8 is my favourite takeaway. Oh no, sorry, I've just done that. That was false. Statement number 9 is false. My favourite soft drink is definitely not Coca-Cola. It's Iron Brew. Diet Iron Brew. Well, the bar sugar-free Iron Brew is my absolutely favourite. I don't mind bars normal Iron Brew or the bars Iron Brew with the 0 one, the sugar-free one. Not sugar-free one, the one. There's two different ones, and I can't think of what you call the one that the equivalent of Pepsi Max only in Iron Brew. It's not coming to me. It's definitely the sugar-free Iron Brew that I like the best, but definitely not cheap Iron Brew. If it's not bars, I can't drink it. Cheap Iron Brew is just nasty. I don't mind cheap things like lemonade, cheap brands of lemonade, cheap brands of orange juice, cheap brands limeade, cheap brands other drinks other than cola and other than Iron Brew. I can drink cheap stuff or anything else, but cheap Iron Brew is just not does not cut it. Anyway, number 10. Last one. I used to dye my hair red, and that is true. Probably from mid-30s to maybe mid-40s. I had kind of red, it was like a deep auburn colour. Sometimes it turned out more coppery than other times, even though it was supposed to be the same colour. When the grey started coming through, I went back to being blonde, which was my original colour. Now there's no hiding the grey unless I go dyeing it again, which I will do soon. But I thought going back to blonde, it kind of hid it for a while. So that's my 5 truths. So congratulations again to Roz and Alex, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.